Today we are solving this problem, maximum matrix sum. So you are given a n cross n integer matrix. So you can do following operation any number of times. Okay, so the operation is choose any two adjacent elements of the matrix and multiply each of them, both the adjacent element, by -1. So two elements are considered adjacent if and only if they share a border. Basically they should not be the diagonally touched, they should be adjacent. Okay, like in this the green highlighted one are the adjacent. So two elements are considered adjacent if they have the common border, any one of the border. So your goal is to maximize the summation of the matrix elements, return the maximum sum of the matrix elements. So for example, let's take this example. This is our matrix. So see, this operation makes sense only when we have certain negative numbers, right? For example, in this question you can see, for example, let's say our matrix was like this: -1 and -1 and 1 and 1. So we want to maximize the sum of it. So what we will do is, this guy, see, this guy and this guy, both of them are the adjacent, right? They are adjacent because this boundary is common. So if we put this operation here, what we will do is we will multiply these two guys by -1. So what would be our resultant? -1 into -1, this would become 1, and similarly -1 into -1, this also would become 1. So we have done one time this operation, and these things would be keep it as it is. Now if we do the sum of it, the sum would be 4, right? So we are getting the maximum sum. So this operation comes to the picture when we have some negative numbers. Okay, if there is no negative number, there is no point of doing this operation by multiplying the adjacent elements by -1. For example, in this matrix you can see here no value is negative, right? So what would be the sum of all of them? If there is no negative, then all of them would be making whatever is the actual sum of it. So it would be like every row has 100, so it would be 400, right? The sum would be here 400. So it would be 400 when the frequency, let's say we have a variable n count which is counting for the negative number. So n counting would be 0 here. So that is why the sum would be 400. We sum every number and it is making 400. Now there could be the other cases. This is the case when we don't have any count of negative numbers. Okay, now what if there are the negative numbers? Okay, so let's say we are making some of them as negative. Suppose this guy, let's say I'm making this guy as negative, -10. Okay, so if we do now we have another question that how it would be work now. And there could be not only one, there could be the multiple negatives, but let's say we are taking right now only one of that negative. So what will be the n count here? N count would be 1, right? So if n count is 1, what should be the sum? So when there is only one element negative, you guys can understand that none of them can make this value as the positive, right? Because these are the negative. This is only one odd number, right? To make that operation we need at least two negatives so that we can get some benefit of it, right? We did like this, so we make both of them positive. So what to do then? So basically in general we can say when the count is odd, let's say not say odd, then what would be the scenario? So let's say we have -10, we have -20, and we have -30. Okay, suppose we have this case. Then how would we make this for the maximum sum? Okay, so now count is odd, basically it is 3, right? So what we will do here, these are the -20 and -30, both of them are adjacent. So if we do the operation, we multiply with -1, so we can make them positive, right, in one operation, and there is no limitation of the operation. We can do it any number of time. So we have made this -20 and 30 positive, but -10 is the only guy. So even if we do whatever number of the operation, this is also at least this is now only one guy, -10. So it would remain as it is. Though we can do the operation. Let's say if I am doing the operation of -10 and -20, what it would be make? It would make positive to this and negative to this, right? But now if we do the sum, still we are even getting the worse thing, right? Because we are deducting -20 from 400, right? So let's do further. So if we do here, what it would be giving, it will make the positive 20 but again minus 30. So we will see the sum is still not greatest. So now we can, if go here, right, this time what we will do, if we do again operation, we will make this guy as plus 30 but this will become minus 50, minus 5. So at this position we can definitely say that if now our sum would be what, it would be 395, which is maximum value. So we can use this grid. Okay, so this grid is whenever we have the odd number of negative numbers, we can make, using this operation, we can reach to the minimum absolute value. Like in this case 5 was the minimum value, right? So we can make our operation in such a way that we can put this negative value, because in odd only one guy would be left as negative, right? All others can be paired, right? Like in this case we paired 20 and 30, but minus 10 was negative, but keeping a negative sign on 10 only is not giving us the best possible answer. So that is why I did operation 1, then operation 2, and then operation 3. When I did operation 3, I reached to the smallest value with this negative number, so I shifted this negative number to this smallest guy. That is why I am getting 395. Okay, so our intention is, if we have the odd frequency, we should reach the negative guy, we should be make the operation in such a way that the negative sign reside at the guy which is absolute smallest value. Okay, so this is what we are doing now. So we covered 0, we covered odd. Now what if there are even numbers? So let's say this time I have taken the there are two negative numbers, minus 40, you can check here, minus 40 and minus 20, right? So this time it is even number of the odd, right? So we have 2, which is even. So in case of even numbers, what we can do is basically we can make our operation in such a way that we can nullify all of them to positive. How? For example, this is minus 40, right? So what I can do is I can operation here, right? Minus 40 and 10. So if I multiply minus 40 with minus 1, what it would be make? It will make plus 40. But here it would become minus 10, right? So now I can again make this operation here, okay, on minus 10 and 20, because these are adjacent, right? So I can make this guy as positive and this guy would be negative. Now you can check this, we have got another adjacent pair, right? If I do that operation, this also would become plus and this also would become plus. So in this way, doesn't matter where the negative numbers are residing, but if we have even numbers, we can definitely nullify them to the positive. So in case of we have even, in that case also our answer would be 400, because if we have even numbers, we can definitely make them positive using this operation. So now you would have got that if count is 0, it would be sum of all of them. If count is odd, then we have to get the negative for the smallest absolute value, and if count is even, then we can definitely get the same value what we got when count was 0. So these are the three possibilities. Using this grid we can solve this problem easily. So how will we solving it? Is like, initially what we will do is we will use one for loop. Okay, just for loop, we will traverse through the matrix. So I don't need to write here entire code. We will traverse through the matrix, and then we will check in the single use, like we will use anyway the 2 for loop to traverse every value. So similarly at that time we can count this n count, that how many negative numbers, and also we will be keep on adding the absolute sum, right? Sum of all the positive values, right? We will get the sum of all the positive, I mean the absolute value. Even if it is the negative, we have to take the positive part of it. This is what I mean to say. So once we will get this sum, then we have to decide that what was the count. If count is 0, then we will return this sum. If count is even, then also we will return same sum, whatever sum we got. But if count is odd, at that time what we will do? If count is odd, then what we will do, whatever sum we got, okay, so this would be sum minus 2 into whatever is the smallest absolute value, right? Like we, in this case, we shifted it to 5, right? So this would be smallest. Now some of you might have a question that why this 2 times. This is 2 times because when we were calculating this sum is coming for all the positive part of these values, right? But anyway, in the final we have to make the negative of it, but we already added 5, so we have to deduct it 2 times, right? Because 5 is to nullify it to 0, and 5 we have to actually remove from it, so that is why it is 2 times. So sum minus 2 into smallest. So let me show you corresponding code of it. So see here, this is our minimum value where I will be checking what is the absolute minimum, and this is the negative count, and this is long sum. So see here, we are traversing through this matrix, and what we are doing is, if matrix element is negative, then we are making this negative count plus plus. And here I am taking the absolute value of all the elements, and here I am taking the minimum. So what would be the minimum absolute value? Doesn't matter if it is negative or positive. And then here I am doing the sum of all the absolute values. Okay, so when we will come out of this, we will checking here that if the negative count is equal to odd, even, in that case we are whatever sum we have got, we will return that. But if it is odd, then it is coming here. So in case of odd, what we are doing, sum minus 2 into minimum value, whatever would be the minimum value. Like in this case, we got the minimum as 5, right? So that is why 2 times. Why 2 times? Because we did the sum of all of them regardless of any positive or negative. But anyway, in the final thing, we have to deduct this guy minus 5, right? So we added once and we are supposed to deduct once, right? So that is why 2 times we have to deduct to get the resultant sum. So this is so let me try to run this code. So I'm executing it. So let me try to submit it. Yeah. So thank you for watching the video. If you guys have any concern, please make a comment.